Hello, welcome to Advertising Report Card. This is Michael Ensor, and today we are doing a report card on Moonraker.AI. Moonraker is an awesome SEO company. They focus on niches, which is something I always recommend, and they have focuses in automotive, restaurants, and roofing. Interesting, the automotive side is specifically for auto body and repair shops, a great niche inside of a very crowded industry. Not a lot of people tapping this. Also some other focuses like roofing and restaurants, and then some other items that you can check out on the website like case studies if you're interested. Main thing about Moonraker is that we're going to be looking at the full spectrum of the marketing channel. Omni-channel approach essentially is looking at the different ways that we can drive traffic. This video is going to be in depth, so if you miss anything, feel free to go back and return to earlier segments of the video to make sure that you get all of the details that we're going to go over. So we're going to jump straight in because we have a lot to cover, and we're going to focus immediately on the PPC side. Sorry about that. So with Google Ads, automotive can be competitive, especially for marketing companies trying to generate the leads. Main thing with the findings from the performance on the search side is that there are dozens of keywords to go after, but the point of doing PPC is to be as precise as possible out of the gate and then lean your way back out into the broader market. These are the precise keywords that I would recommend blanketing. And when I say that, I mean generating leads from these keywords exclusively out of the gate and then expanding from there. Reason being is that you have a finite budget that you want to allocate to PPC, which we'll get to the allocation later. But for your core keywords, for the exact things that you're offering in the market, you want to make sure you're dominating for these. And the benefit to that is even if the cost per click does get a little higher than you'd want it, at least you're showing for the keywords that if someone was searching for that specific term, you're going to know that beyond a reasonable doubt, this person wants to work with you or wants to work with the aspect of what you're offering as a service. So going after too many keywords might mean you not produce at all. But if you go after the ones that are very specific to what you're offering, that is what's going to be beneficial. But how do we knock down the cost per click from $10 to $20 per click? That's what we're going to go after next. So the main thing out of the gate is not waste budget on keywords. So I wanted to pull up an example of wasted budget on keywords. So let's go ahead and grab our number one keyword for volume specifically and pop it into Google search results. As you can see here out of the gate, both of these ads are irrelevant. And the reason being is that they're both targeting the automotive industry, but neither of those are actually focused. I checked out PCG and Market Doctors, and neither of them are really focusing on auto repair shops. They're focusing on automotive dealerships. So if a auto repair shop were to click into those pages, they probably wouldn't feel so relevant. The context wouldn't be congruent. They wouldn't relate to what they're actually offering. Also, just in general, that actually works. It's kind of, the ads themselves aren't too strong. They're not really value propping up exactly what people are looking for. I don't know if anyone would see that actually works and be convinced. So not just copy on the side of the ad side, but also making sure that we're not showing ads to irrelevant traffic is going to be key to making sure that we're using the budget on these keywords properly. So another thing, first and foremost, is Moonraker itself is an older term. It has a lot of definitions. There's movies named after it. There's different items in the Moonraker keyword space that it gets pulled up for, like definitions. But the main thing is that there is no competition. So if you hit this page and go to Moonraker, there is no competition. You got your James Bond movie, you got your Wikipedia, and you got your YouTube clips, and then you got your brewing. Didn't know Moonraker had its own brewery too, but so that you can see here that there's a lot of different items that are showing up for Moonraker. The main thing to consider is that there are 0 ads on this page, meaning that nobody is bidding on this term verbatim. If I had a brand name that was Moonraker related to any other aspect, but Moonraker is my key term, I would want to place an ad here just in case someone tried to search for me off top of mind. Let's say that they were referred Moonraker SEO and they typed in Moonraker and found nothing. That's not exactly what you'll want to have happen. Granted, at the same time, you wouldn't want to bid against, an example, a movie theater trying to sell tickets. That would be irrelevant. This specific example for Moonraker means that anybody who's searching for this term going forward, we can dominate placement with ads and probably spend next to nothing, because most people are going to be searching for Moonraker.AI or Moonraker.AI or Moonraker SEO or Auto Repair Moonraker SEO, things of that nature. But again, reduce it down to the focus. You could dominate your branded keyword. I always recommend that. It's good for branding, but also it's a catch-all in case someone shorthands your brand name. Next, scrolling on down, Moonraker SEO. We can win for local on this. Reason being is that you can see the SEO listing showed up. Let me go ahead and exit out these two examples in the tab. You can see here that we're showing for Moonraker SEO services in a local specific region. It looks like it's netting New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, which is great. Main thing here is that you are going to have more competition on the PPC side. Why? Because of the keyword SEO. How many people are bidding on Moonraker SEO specifically? That's something that you'll be able to find once you start running in the auction insights. We don't have anything running now, so we can't actually see if anybody is competitively bidding and doing a conquest campaign on your brand name. But let's say there is. You're going to want to bid on that as well to make sure that you beat that person out. Likewise, for this verbatim search, because this keyword is going to be an exact match and phrase match in your campaign, you'll dominate all of these ad placements as well. Because while they might be going after SEO, they're not going after Moonraker SEO. So your keyword score and your relevance is going to be higher for this. You'll be able to beat people out for searching for your brand name and the service. Very important, because you don't want to necessarily have a bunch of competition sitting on top of your name. As you can see here, there are 4 ads on top of the organic placement. And of those, there are some pretty punchy call to actions, like 40+ 5-star reviews and things of that nature, all in one tool. Some of these call outs are decent. And then you have price point arguments and fake review things. Of course, they're not number one. But one thing to keep in mind is that they are outranking you. Another thing to consider, and I add that to the note here in the file. I'm going to get rid of the keyword dated too, is the maps listing. First of all, the image, it's a good image, it's personable, but I would recommend making sure that the content that shows up for your local listings, especially on the ad side of things, is going to be relevant to the mechanics. Showing mechanics or mechanic success, or a picture of a testimonial, a still image of somebody giving you a review, that's going to be good. I mean, you definitely could be an auto mechanic, but no offense, you just don't. You look more clean and professional than someone who's been in the shop all day. It's a compliment, but for the industry, it's you might not relate to the guy who's got the oil on his hands from the job he just did. And granted, not all auto body managers are the ones doing the work, but it's all about relation, especially when you're building your first brand impression. You want to act like you're one of them, and that they are going to understand you, and that you know and understand them. Another thing I was going to mention too, I know that you have multiple focuses on the website, so I don't know if this is really going to go for it, but if we were going to do a push, say, for 3 months on just doing auto body SEO services, I recommend changing this to Moonraker Auto Repair SEO. Actually, you know what? Now that I deleted the keyword before, let me go ahead and pull that right back up. So auto repair SEO is the #1 term for the searches that we're looking for. So the main thing that I would look at is, okay, well, how can I introduce that across my brand? So for that marketing push, we are just pushing nothing but that. If that is the focus, Moonraker Auto Repair SEO would be ideal. But again, I don't want to interrupt the other service flows. Something to consider though, it would help your PPC and your SEO combined. It's a combined effort with the keywords. So moving on to the next, and if you have any questions about combined effort between PPC and SEO keywords, just let me know. So with that being said, on to the next. Long tail service and regional is what we would want to go after. Reason being is that when you first filled out the onboarding, you had mentioned some core Northeast cities and some core cities in that region. Those are more competitive areas, especially in New York when it comes to PPC and things of that nature, but there are other neighborhoods and other regions and zip codes inside those states that we can target. Main thing to consider here again is we're going up against people who are going after irrelevant bids. Basically, I'm pretty sure, I'd bet you $3 at least, These guys are just bidding after auto SEO and automotive SEO. Reason being is that they're showing up for terms that aren't really specific to what they're doing again. So these people are really bleeding some PPC in order to generate traffic, which is another sign that it's very competitive in automotive. Auto repair shop SEO is where I think we're going to really dominate. In addition to that, auto repair shop SEO companies in city or in state or in region, while those are going to be more long tail and probably not as high volume searches, having that ready and to catch people that are that far down in the sales funnel is going to be key to not just lowering cost per click, because we can go after these phrases as phrase and exact, whereas our exact competition on those keywords will be much lower than the broad competition of just auto SEO. We want to get away from competing with the people who are spending a ton of money on broad keywords and focus on pinning our bids on specific searches. Otherwise, we're going head to head with national automotive marketing companies, and we can easily beat them out with these searches, auto repair SEO, because we're going to be specific in the ad copy. We're not going to have random automotive SEO terms. And as you can see here with Upswell, auto repair shop marketing. So you can see that there are some people who are bidding once you get into the longer tail searches. Let's pop them open and take a quick look. So the first thing that comes to mind here is it's just a pretty generic landing page, pretty short, something that's punchy. And the only thing I'm thinking is that this could really use some testimonials. I mean, these types of testimonials, they are very generic. They've been used for over a decade on websites and volume. But the main thing is having a video testimonial or images of success or image of location or brand name with a chart that mirrors its success with then the written testimonial, because this doesn't provide as much validation. Seeing this, it's like, oh, okay, that's good. This is what I need to help with, but it's direct mail campaign. This has nothing really to do with SEO. So the main thing that I would say here is that this company is bidding on those keywords and has ads for it. But if you look at the actual landing page, the congruency for what they're trying to show for, it's not one-to-one. You can see the services here. There is no SEO. If I search SEO on this landing page, I get one result in the form. They're not even really pushing SEO. So to kind of lead to that next example, as long as our landing page is really hammering out the fact that we're doing auto repair and we're the auto repair experts and auto repair SEO and just really nailing that word down on the landing page, from PPC to the landing page experience is going to be better for the user. But Google's also scanning the landing page against the keywords in the ad copy to look for that congruency. So as long as you have the congruency in place, you're going to lower the cost per click, increase the customer experience, which both of those effectively should lower the cost per lead, because when the customer experience is aligned and you're providing them what they're looking for, you're going to get more form fills and you're going to get more phone calls. Last but not least, the length of this landing page for PPC or paid ad campaign is maybe something we would want to take a look at. The reason being is that the landing page distance on the Moonraker landing page, while it has a lot of great content, I like the fact that a lot of these things, I mean, there's a guarantee. We have a full breakdown of deliverables. We have a facts section. We have what it looks like before and after, things of that nature. And I think that a lot of this is really good. I think it's a matter of layout, consolidating the things that really matter and figuring out what people really care about, which is something else that we're going to talk about more in CRO. See, these are great. This is great. But how we're displaying that on the landing page to get people to immediately sign up is something worth figuring out how to optimize. This is good, shows the auto mechanics. But if you looked at this, this could be a team of programmers, or it could be a stock photo. That's the one thing too to consider, is that people who are actually in the industry, they want to see that it's going to work for them. So the more that you build around how they look and see how they manage their business and what they're seeing is really important as well. The landing page on Moonraker itself is extremely clean. Like, I really like the fonts. I like the color coordination. It's not too obnoxious. It's actually it flows very well. But the main thing here is just trying to figure out what we can do to connect the people that are searching for these terms to take action on the page, which again, we'll get to CRO in a bit. All right, so the campaign recommendations overall for PPC, for the campaign structure, you're definitely gonna wanna hit that brand hard. There's no reason you should ever lose a click to anybody searching for Moonraker, especially if there's nobody else bidding on it. Your ad auction works as you pay as much or 1 cent over as a person competing with you. So if it's 2 people competing and there's 2 placements, you guys can both show. But let's say you're competing with someone and they're bidding 50 cents. In order to get over them, you're going to want to pay 1 penny more, 51 cents. That's how Google's auction works. So if there's nobody bidding on your brand name at all, I recommend doing that just to cover it. And if you end up spending budget on irrelevant search terms, you can add them to the negative keyword list, like Moonraker, James Bond. If somebody clicks your ad, we can always, proactively block terms that we know could be problematic, like brewing, as we saw earlier in the example. But in general, dominating that's going to be good for the brand. Okay, so with that being said, next, brand plus service. People aren't bidding on Moonraker unless we can find evidence of competitive bidding on your actual branded keyword. But Moonraker SEO, if no one's bidding on that verbatim, is also competition lists. SEO as itself will have competition. It will inherently bring up the cost per click, but making sure that anybody who searches for your brand, whether it's through referral or through research or just top of mind marketing elsewhere, that you want to show at the top for Moonraker SEO. And I want to emphasize that brand is the easiest win. It's the easiest way to get a conversion. You have somebody who knows you and wants to work with you. And if they add your service next to your brand, it's because they are looking to work with you directly. You never want to miss that traffic. And you're going to have people bidding on that traffic, as you can see here. You have 4 ads above your organic listing. Next is service plus region. Again, I don't want to just go after auto mechanic SEO across the country. Can we? Yes. We will drain budget quickly and we'll have to optimize rapidly. And the problem with that is it's going to spend budget quickly. It's going to spend budget fast. And we want to make sure that we lean into budget spending. Some people just want to spend budget and drive traffic and figure it out later. After managing millions in PPC, the main thing I want to do is out of the gate, have everything running, show impressions, and then from there start to break out more broad terms if we're not driving traffic and not spending at all. That's the main thing that we would want to look at. So another thing too is that we can also focus on city versus state versus area. So instead of maybe just doing every state on the list you want to focus on, we focus on the top 3 states and the top 3 cities in each state that have auto body. And we focus on making sure that the keyword matches that and the ad copy matches that. And as an example, like in New York, as an example, New York can come with Manhattan or New York Island. Or what if you're in the mainland of New York? Like what if you're in Buffalo? So that's an example of how we could segment those bids to make sure that we're not just bleeding budget without actually knowing what we're bidding for. We will find out on the back end what the exact search term was that drove that, but that's retroactively being productive. If you want to be proactive, that's what I'm recommending is the best way to go forward. With the campaign strategy, the other thing I was going to mention is the match ad groups with the keywords. I don't think we should pull everything together indefinitely. Out of the gate, we can have some ad groups with multiple variations of similar keywords, but the moment that they start spending and showing impressions, we're going to want to break that out, and I'll explain why. There's 2 ways to do SCAG, or not necessarily SCAG, but more relevant ad groups. SCAG is single keyword ad groups. That's not always the solution. Really, the solution is capturing in the ad group the different types of semantics that follow the same phrase. Like auto repair shop SEO can be said a few different ways. Like best auto repair shop SEO or auto repair shop SEO companies near me, as an example. You would want to pull all those together out of the gate. And then when you see any of them dominating the spend where the other keywords aren't able to spend because there's no more budget left, that's when you're going to want to start segmenting and dissecting things. Negative keywords is going to be extremely important here because with auto repair, there's all different types of parts. There's recruiting, there's education, there's training, There's a lot of things that we do not want to show for. So having a very comprehensive negative keyword list out of the gate is going to keep us from spending on bids that we don't want through the first month and indefinitely. A lot of people never really optimize their negative keyword list. And it's the difference between, if you're shooting a fire hose versus just throwing a bucket of water. The negative keyword list, in addition to just the keywords you're targeting, are going to help you focus what you're able to show your ad on so that you're a little bit more precise when you're trying to fire off ads. And then the low traffic possibility. What I wanted to emphasize here is that I am going after a low to then high traffic strategy. Reason being is that there are a lot of ways that we could bleed budget that we do not want to bleed budget. So we have to be careful with that. So the main thing with this is making sure that we have the right match types, but then eventually leaning in to other options. Like as an example, I have search partners here. I don't typically recommend this unless I have a campaign that is extremely laser focused with keywords, because if you have hundreds of keywords that you're targeting and you switch to search partners, you're going to get thousands of searches that may be irrelevant. But if we're laser focused out of the gate and bring search partners in, we'll show on places like YouTube and show on places like other search engines that are partnered with Google to show ads. And we might pick that up because another thing too is the sophistication of different industries. How an automotive dealership marketing manager might look for a vendor for marketing is going to be vastly different than the research that your average auto mechanic repair shop is going to be looking for. It's not a matter of intelligence. It's a matter of training and understanding technology and how finding a vendor for SEO for auto mechanics work. And they might not just be looking on Google. They might be looking on forums. They might be looking on special interest places. So that's why it's really important to make sure that we're showing in the places that are relevant. And if we have low traffic, that we can open up to additional search engines to make sure we grab that traffic. So in summary, the structured campaign management with the STR reports and tweaks needs to get done weekly. We need to be very hyper focused on making sure that this campaign is touched constantly, especially within the first 90 days. There's no reason why this wouldn't show 100% relevant traffic, but if it doesn't, we want to make sure that we're acting on that. Again, we don't have an unlimited budget. We have a high cost per click target, and we have a very specific niche. We should be able to dominate that. And with the search term reports that ARC does, and then the tweaks that we do, that should help. Another thing too is Bing. Absolutely. The moment that we have the campaign built, it's showing impressions and we're getting clicks, move and partition part of it to Bing. Bing's going to have a lower cost per click. It's also going to work with people who, again, sophistication level on technology. More people are going to use Bing that don't understand the difference between Google Chrome and Microsoft's web browser. I think it's Bing browser. I don't even know what it's called anymore. And then Yahoo, and then all the Internet Explorer and Safari. Bing paid for, I think, 7 years, like $100 million to be the default search engine on multiple browsers, including Internet Explorer. Anybody who doesn't download an additional browser, chances are they're using Bing or Yahoo, or they were roped into it by accidentally clicking the wrong link and it changed their browser settings. Don't leave Bing on the table. It's going to be the cheaper cost per click. With a high cost per click industry, we want to be on Bing. With YouTube, remarketing, even if we're not doing prospecting out into the general market, it's extremely affordable. And if somebody hits the site and does not convert, not having a YouTube video to further explain what the product is a huge missed opportunity. Likewise, you can segment what type of videos your YouTube ad plays beforehand on pre-roll and what channels that it plays on. And we can make it hyper-focused to the auto repair shop and the auto repair employee grouping, people who are in that industry. Banner ads, same thing as YouTube. Only thing is that with the banner ads, it's a lot more punchy. You're going to be able to emphasize different value props in a very quick visual way. Will it generate a lot of traffic? Not really. Will it generate a lot of conversions? Probably not. Will it generate top of mind recognition as people go to your site and go back out into the world? It'll absolutely keep you in front of them, which is important. The branding and the logo of Moonraker seems to be important because it's memorable, and I've seen it in some of the Facebook ads, so utilizing that. But then also call to actions. Combine what the auto repair visuals look like with the benefit of using the services. Even if it's just reminding people, we do auto repair SEO. Having those banner ads in place we're talking fractions of a penny to get in front of people that you're looking to do business with. Blanket. PPC for what we're going to be doing out of the gate with the strategy that I'm recommending, we should be showing 100% of the time, and we should be showing the top 3 positions. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that, even if we have to spend extra on the cost per click. Reason being is that it's niche, and we have the exact offering. A lot of the competition in the market does not, as you saw the other ads and the other landing pages. A lot of people are not one-to-one with what the auto repair shop owner is looking for. We are. We want to make sure that we're grabbing that traffic and just saturating those keywords. And CRO is going to be extremely important during this process and tweaking the site and doing landing page testing, swapping out buttons, different conversions. We want to see what's going to get us the cheapest cost per conversion. What happens thereafter, whether we get them a free SEO audit, whether we're scheduling a sales call out of the gate, we have to figure out what's going to get us the cheapest cost per lead, and then thereafter, what's getting us the sale and what that cost per sale is. CRO is going to play a major role in this, because even during initial discussions before the report card, we were able to kind of look at some logic behind the way that we're doing this. As an example, beforehand, when it said get pricing, we were getting vaulted down to the pricing field. And on the pricing section, I'll try to pull up right now. The pricing was trying to get people to sign up immediately and register. So no sales call, immediate sign up. And the problem with this, which I like, if you can get somebody to buy immediately, 100% do it. If you have a product and a funnel that people are getting to this page and actually making a purchase, which is fairly popular in a lot of different types of offerings. You've probably seen millions of these types of examples on ClickUp. On ClickFunnels. But the problem with this is that we haven't had a sale yet. With that being said, I don't think this site's gotten enough traffic to see if this is actually going to work or not. So it's kind of hard for me to say if this is going to work for this specific instance. But since it hasn't worked yet, and every single sale has resulted in a sales call before somebody signing up, main thing is to get people to schedule a call. So as you can see here, we've switched this to the form, which is great. It's a step in the right direction. How we're phrasing this: book a call to discuss pricing. It's like book a call to discuss the best package for you, or book a call for us to help you find exactly what package you need, or book a call to discuss your SEO needs. Something that's going to get people to feel like they can have that call. Book a free call to discuss your auto body SEO needs. There's a lot of variations you can test there, where you don't necessarily have to just say get pricing. A lot of people will say, well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? But the goal here is not to just tell people how much it costs. The goal here operationally is to get them to book an appointment or to take the next action. And if they're able to do that easily without any obligation, your conversion rate will go up. And that's the main thing that we're looking for right now, is to get some leads in, and then from there, try to figure out how to get them to the finish line. And then last but not least, creative. The main thing with creative is we need to really take a look at what we're doing for the testimonial side, about the industry specific imagery with the content that's going to go on that imagery, and how we're going to distribute that from the landing page to YouTube and to the banner ads. If there are ads on the banners and there are videos on the YouTube ads, having similar, at least, call to actions on the page that mirror the advertising, so if somebody does click it or does respond, they're getting sent to a page that makes sense contextually, is very important. And on the page, while, like I had said, I complimented how it looks, we would want to make sure that if we did create ads, that they are matching what's going to look like on the landing page, that it makes sense. So there might be some visual components that we could add to this that might help. This is a really cool visual as well. This could be a great GIF ad, GIF, GIF, however you want to pronounce it. But this could be an amazing example of what an ad could be. This itself, if taken in a freeze frame, could be a YouTube ad, with a little voiceover recording. Say, hey, this is what happens when you activate Moonraker SEO for your auto body. Watch your Google Maps increase their ranking from all the positions surrounding where people are looking for you locally. And just explain what the visual is, have some captions in the bottom of the video. You have a YouTube ad. So that's a quick example. So this PPC overview itself was 30 minutes. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop this and we're going to call this the report card just for the PPC. And then we're going to do a secondary part just for the social because of length of time. I don't want to rush this next section. If you have any questions on the PPC section, please let me know.